The grand finale of the Anambra State Private Schools debate has been held. The tournament was sponsored by an NGO, AGBAKO Empowerment and Development Foundation, an initiative of also Dr. AGBAKO, MFR. The foundation embarked on the project to bring Anambra private schools up to date with current trends in debating and to empower the students of private schools to catch up with the public schools. Many private schools in Anambra State participated in the debate exercise, with College of the Masters Secondary School, Ifitoka, and One Nowimo Memorial Secondary School, Umudioka Village, Oka, participating in the grand finale. Also, Dr. AGBAKO was represented by Roy Ikunife at the event.
The founder of AGBAKO Foundation, feeling that it's a kind of a lopsided approach to what it's doing, believing in education, development, and giving back to the society, he felt like, let me just do it again with the private schools, having been doing it with the public schools. That informed the extension of the Nigerians or the debate to the private schools. So, what do you have to tell it? Can you put your hands together for AGBAKO Foundation? Now, let me also inform you that you embarked on medical mission. We are people with various health challenges we are taking care of. It's not easy. That's another way of giving back to the society. And then today, you can see the debate. I call it intellectual exercise. This is what happens.
The debate topic was between parliamentary system of government and the presidential system of government, which suits Nigeria best.
This House believes that the system of government connoted in the 1999 Constitution as amended has retarded and has aggravated the retarded growth in terms of development. And that is why this House would return Nigeria back to the parliamentary system of government, which back in the good old days when it was being practiced, brought about the title, the Giant of Africa, to our dearest country, Nigeria. So in today's debate, I as the lead speaker, I would clearly define the terms: the parliamentary system of government and as well the presidential system of government. I would inform the House and tell them why the presidential system of government has failed and how the parliamentary system of government would correct those errors. I will also tell them about the proposed constitution which will come in play through a constitutional conference. I will also go ahead and tell them how parliamentary system of government would help solve the economic mess that Nigeria has gotten themselves into, all in the name of practicing presidential system of government. And then my first supporting speaker would first of all clash the argument raised by the first speaker into opposition, and as well inform the House how the parliamentary system of government would help return Nigeria back to her messiah in the form of parliamentary system of government, that is development. And then lastly, the second supporting speaker will be reporting all arguments raised by our friends in arguments in today's debate, while still reaffirming our stand. Now, the parliamentary system of government is a system of government headed by two individuals. That is the head of state and the head of government. The whole executive power is being vested on these two individuals, and the presidential system of government, on the other hand, is a system of government in which the whole executive power is being vested on a single individual. Panel, based on incidents, we believe that the presidential system of government has failed. Reason being that back in the good old days, when parliamentary system of government was being practiced, the highest Nigerian currency was worth more than a US dollar. But today, the reverse is the case. A US dollar is worth more than the highest Nigerian currency. And you tell me that Nigeria does not need to return back to her messiah in the form of the parliamentary system of government. The two major reasons why the presidential system of government has failed is firstly due to the lack of opposition. Opposition which will criticize governmental action. And you quite agree with me that in the absence of this opposition or in lack of this opposition, The president,
before being elected or re-elected as the country's president. In addition, every 4 years, the citizens are also afforded an opportunity of their choice to elect the leader of their choice through the ballot and have full sovereignty to choose whoever they want as a leader. The presidential system of government also encourages presidential debates, which is a situation whereby the presidential candidates come out in public to debate among themselves and tell the citizens reasons why they should be elected. And in other words, the president can also be impeached to step down if not performing his functions properly, as written in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended in 2018, Part 4 of Section 2, which states that any president, vice president, or any civil officer can be impeached of their position to step down if not performing their functions properly, committing of high crimes and misdemeanors. This simply means the president is answerable to the electorate which are the people who elected him. Not like a parliamentary system of government whereby the head of state sometimes popularly elected and the head of government who holds the real executive powers is only elected by a few members of the parliament, which is a total of 145 members of the parliament.
Presidents take more time in the presidential system, but in the parliamentary system, immediately the prime minister does anything that does not favor the country, he will be immediately removed. But in the presidential system of government, this cannot happen because the process is very long. System can appoint his own ministers and that it favors the country. But I'd like to remind him that the presidential system, because the president can appoint his ministers, all his ministers are subjected to him and they obey all his orders. So how can we guarantee that there will be no corruption in the system?
It is the presidential system of government which we are practicing now, because we should put in consideration the characters, the behaviors of our politicians, who their actions are either self-centered, tribalistic, or religiously inclined, who their utterances never communal, but rather show what I have mentioned before. Then imagine when they are giving more power to form executive bodies who are actually under the parliamentary system of government. Wouldn't this be catastrophic? With less or no check and balance, unlike the presidential system of government, where the legislature is checked by the executive and vice versa. Another reason why I say that presidential system of government is best for Nigeria is that Nigeria is the multi-ethnic, multilingual set of people, and this diversity is not evenly distributed. Because majority in the north are Muslim and in the south are Christians. The land mass and population is about 60% of the north and 40% of the south. Pardon, imagine if political parties are formed alongside religious and ethnic background, and this party find their way into the parliament, who will choose the majority that will form head of state and hold the religions of other and hold the faith of other religions in the country.
The speaker of my team said that for us to have change in result, there must be change in action. What the team opposition came here to prove to us today are just plain theories, things that have not functioned. Nigeria started practicing the presidential system of government in 1979. To date, we returned back after the military in 1999, and to date we have spent 24 good years in the presidential system of government. And my question is, what have we achieved? Truly, there are principles, there are theories that support this system of government, but they are not functioning in our country. And this is why we said that this house is going to return Nigeria back to the parliamentary system of government.
To modify an argument of controversial relevance, others like to want to ask this question: which is better, the parliamentary system or the presidential system? I'm here to make a comparison of the both and to tell you this is why we will not have today's debate. Now, I remember in 1963 to 69, Nigeria was already practicing the system of government in the First Republic, which will lose the nation of Nigeria. And there's no point of practicing something that was already told in the past, when history will just repeat itself and just fail again. Now, ever since the abolishment of that system and the adoption of the presidential system, this system has put together a competent piece of governing Nigeria, and also it has served us for more than 5 decades. Now, panel, everyone that tries to know what they talked about the democracy of the parliamentary system. Well, I come to disagree with that, because democracy in the parliamentary system is actually the cabinet who votes for their representative leader. But in the presidential system, it is the citizens who are involved in the election of their representative leader, which goes hand in hand with the definition of democracy. According to Abraham Lincoln, the former US president, democracy is the government of the people, by the people and for the people, making the presidential system more democratic due to the fact that it is the people who are involved in the election of their representative leader. Now, my first argument of trying to impose this system of government on us, well, it will never work, just like it didn't work the first time. Now, the reason is the nature of Nigeria. Now, Nigeria is a multi-ethnic country, one in contradiction. Britain is a mono-ethnic country, only one tribe, one religion, and one.
And parliamentary system of government which suits Nigeria best. But my colleagues and I have proved beyond all reasonable doubts that presidential system of government is the best system for Nigeria. While our friends in argument were going around in circles, telling us the same thing over and over again, that presidential system of government haven't been working for our country. Now, our economical problem is because of the presidential system of government that we are practicing. What our friends in argument did do in today's debate is channel all the problems of Nigeria towards the system of government which we are currently practicing.
As well, we give you instances as to why the presidential system of government has failed and how the parliamentary system of government should correct that. I quite agree that we channeled our economic problem to the system of government, and since in opposition we are unable to prove that wrong, that means it's actually right. We went further to educate the House on the proposed constitution. We were not foolish. We were actually wise to understand that Nigeria is a multi-ethnic group, meaning that it comprises with people with different languages, cultures as well. That is why we proposed a constitution. We also say that in our constitution that veto power would actually be withdrawn. Quite alright. And also create a bicameral legislature. And that bicameral legislature would have an upper chamber consisting of the House of Elders. And this House of Elders would actually be based on opinion polls.
Mr. Benson Ibe, the coordinator, narrated the essence of the debate.
Of the debating tournament for private secondary schools in Anambra State. The tournament is undertaken as a philanthropic gesture by the NGO AGBAKO Empowerment and Development Foundation, which is the initiative of also Dr. Anambra. The foundation discovered that private secondary schools in Anambra State mostly have not moved up to the current trend in the conduct of debating, known as the World Schools Debating Championship, WSDC style, which is the current debating style at the world stage. This meant that the private schools were seriously lagging behind the public schools in the states in this aspect of school curriculum, because the public schools had adjusted to this form of debating for well over a decade now, and have indeed been used to represent Anambra State at national tournaments, from where they have gone forward to represent Nigeria at world level several times, coming back on occasions with global trophies. True to its founding philosophy of empowerment and development, the foundation is embarking on this project to empower the students of private schools to catch up with the public schools and reap the benefits of that, and reap the benefits that accrue from such an empowerment. The organizers hired top-notch debate officials. In fact, the same people that have been responsible for the exploits of Anambra State in the debating arena for this project. These are the judges you have been seeing with us. So they have made Anambra State a leading state in the debating project. So they prepared the students. They took part in the adjudication in so many of the debates. And so we found that if we want to make real progress in this enterprise, we should involve them. And that's why they have been here with us all the time. To kick off the exercise, the anchor person is our president. They reached out to the private schools through the National Association of the Proprietors of Private Schools, NAPS, to publicize the event and also place notices on platforms of English teachers. It has been a very keen competition, especially towards the later stages. However, it is our sincere view that the private schools generally still have much work to do in this area, which is not a surprise since these are the initial steps into the arena. It is our hope that soon they will catch up with the counterparts in the public schools in the states. To this end, we urge the proprietors of private schools in the states to endeavor to build on this initiative, to take their students further until they also begin to appear on the world stage of debate tournaments. For now, only the public and public mission schools are found there, and no one can get there who is unfamiliar with the WSDC style of debating that has been featured in this tournament. The Association of Owners of Private Schools is there to drive this campaign. The various splinters of such associations should find a way of working together to actualize this. I thank the founder of the NGO that has driven this process for his magnanimity and wish him God's own reward for the selfless sacrifice. I equally thank all those who have contributed one way or another to make this event a success, especially the whole school for providing all enablement for the conduct of this competition. I join the sponsor in congratulating the winning schools and indeed all the schools that have participated, many of whom have showcased really brilliant and talented students that should be nurtured and developed. Thank you all. Best Liebe, coordinator.
At the end of the debate, the adjudicators made observations and corrections on the performance of the debaters.
Important thing that was missing, or should I say lacking in the round, is the question of structure. And what do I mean by structure? Structure within an argument or within a speech necessarily means the extent to which the speech is organized or the analysis within the speech is organized, and the extent to which an audience or individuals that are listening to you can understand the arguments within the speech. And for this to be present, there is a need for delineation. And by delineation, I simply mean a linear structure. So by linear structure here, there is a need for you to explain or name the arguments in this case. The problem here is that the finals, despite how good it is, the problem is that most speakers within the round never had any specifics. And by specifics, I mean, what is the name of the argument? So you need to tell me what the argument is, so that I can be able to understand this is the point at which you're making an argument, and this is the point at which you're ending that argument, and this is the point at which you're entering a different argument, right? So this is very important because at most times within the debate, me as the chief adjudicator, and I assume also other judges in the panel, had a problem with understanding when the argument started and when the argument ended, because there was no marker to explain this is the title of the argument and this is why the argument is important. But the second thing is the argument itself. Aside from the name of the argument, there is a need for you to explain the analysis behind the argument. And by the analysis, I don't mean explaining why it's important or why it's good. It's explaining why you come to the conclusion as to why it's good in the first place. Because explaining why something is good doesn't necessarily explain to any logical person that is listening to you the reason why that can be said to be good in the first place. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But the second thing is, aside from the analysis, there is a need for comparative, given that the motion requires you to explain why Nigeria should be referred back to parliamentary system of government, which means that the comparison within the debate is presidential system of government and the parliamentary system of government. So for proposition, if you're saying you should be referred back to parliamentary system, within the argument, you need to then explain why your own side is comparatively better. Like, if the argument is representation, you need to then explain why the representation on your own side is far much better than what is obtainable on the other side. So it doesn't just end with explaining why parliamentary system is good or why presidential system is good. The finals and the plenary rounds, this will show you how reply speeches ought to normally be. Because even though reply speeches are good, it's still just lacking the structure but also the standard. And the thing is, the thing about debating is not an internal sport. By internal sport, I don't mean you don't compete just amongst your classmates or amongst another school in Anambra State and you win them and you feel you're a good speaker. You're only a good speaker at the point when if you speak and it's an international tournament, you can hold your own. If you can't, you are not yet a good speaker. You are just a local champion, feeling sweet, feeling cool, but you can't speak. And that's the thing. So for reply speeches, I think one, given that there is an agent within the debate, and the agent in this question is Nigeria, it means then that every argument within the debate tends to explain why Nigeria benefits from a particular system of government. I think that the reply speeches should rather follow a structure of explaining what the world or what Nigeria would look like if we adopt a particular system of government. I think it would be better off that way, because at a point where you explain what Nigeria would look like if you adopt a particular system of government, it then becomes easier for you to incorporate things like representation and the extent to which representation exists in that new Nigeria, or things like swiftness of action, accountability, and all the rest of those arguments. But given that those analyses were not necessarily present, what we ended up having was just not necessarily even clashes. What we just ended up having is I said this, my position didn't say this. I said this, my position didn't say this. That doesn't come about me.
We had from these things, I had a very serious issue with them. When you are explaining an argument, you don't assume that we know what you're talking about. Obviously, the judges are averagely intelligent people like this, but you need to explain your argument sufficiently enough for someone who had no idea of what you were talking about initially to understand fully and be able to explain it to another person. So both teams, I'm going to give this particular example because this was the first for both teams. One of the things they said was, oh, because Nigeria was like this at the time, for example, because Nigeria was flourishing at the time, and I think one person gave an example of Nigeria became the giant of Africa at the time, therefore, at the time when Nigeria was practicing a parliamentary system of government, therefore the parliamentary system is good. The other one said, oh, because Nigeria experienced its first coup at the time when Nigeria was practicing a parliamentary system of government, then the parliamentary system is bad. That was totally bad, because you needed to have shown how a parliamentary system of government is directly linked to a coup or directly linked to Nigeria's economic flourishing. So just assuming that it happened coincidentally does not necessarily prove that both of them are directly tied. So the extent of this particular correction is that the next time you are arguing, you need to be sure to establish sufficient links. But then how exactly do I propose you do this? I noticed that from both teams, from most of the speakers, to be very honest, a lot of you did not have, I don't think you had enough preparation for your speech. And I think the reason was that you significantly wrote-learned your speech, that is, you crammed your speech to a very great extent, right? When you advance, for example, if you get to the university level, you see that sometimes you are given 15 minutes to prepare for a speech that you knew nothing about. Sometimes you are given 5 minutes. I've debated and I've been given a topic and I prepared for it under 2 minutes and I spoke on it quite well. So in that instance, you don't have people to go and ask. You don't have anything to ask. You just depend on what you have internally and the knowledge you generated up to that time. So what I'm saying is practice on the spot speaking, read more, and try to test the extent of your weight. You understand?
To ship you one or two things. To start with, the two things that debated today, you did wonderfully well for your stage. I mean, for your stage, you did very well. Clap for yourself. And I want to say, at the stage, I, as one of the adjudicator, I was confused. Which team is leading the other? So, for your stage, because this is the first time we are having this private school debate of a thing. This is the first time. We are having it, and this is the final stage of this first time. So, we really appreciate the effort of your coaches and the effort of the debaters. You tried, but you can still do better.
According to the competition coordinator, Mr. Ibe, the third place position went to All Hallows Seminary, Onitsha.
The silver and the bronze, which represents first, second, and then third. Then we have medals that go with them. Then we have the cup, overall winners' cup. So, but I want to make a comment concerning the prize awards and the significance. We have 3 prizes, okay? Now already the third place prize has been awarded to a school. And that school is written here. What is it? All Hallows Seminary, Onitsha. Then the first and second prizes, we didn't know. So we can't write their names on the plates because it's just the way we knew them. So what will happen is that we will recover the plates from these schools and then write their names at a later stage. If they so wish anyway. But that is what will make the play complete. It's the nature of the competition and we can't know the winners until today. And the plays were prepared in advance.
College of the Masters, Ifitoka, emerged the winner of the debate.
Organized by AGBAKO Empowerment Program is on a 2-1 split is the team on proposition. Proposition side won the debate.
On behalf of AGBAKO Empowerment and Development Foundation, I present this plaque to you. For the champion, stand up. Will you? All right. Foundation, I present this plaque to the first prize winner, the champions right there. This like, is it La Liga or Champions League or, It's what? Champions League. Oh my God. Oh yeah, appreciate them. Yeah. Don't do that sound again. Don't do that stand up for the champion again. Let's stand up for the champion again. Oh yeah, that's all. Stand up. Yeah. On behalf of AGBAKO Empowerment and Development Foundation, I present this golden trophy to the winners. You want to go home with a cup? You're not smiling. Your smile cannot win this cup from the way I'm looking at it. So put up a better smile and you win the cup. You won already. But for the cup to pat my hands, I need to see appreciation. Written all over your faces. But I present the cup. I should go home with the cup. I should give it to them. Oh my God. The eyes have, oh yes. All right. And the ball goes to the champions. Oh yeah. Okay. College of the Masters. No wonder you are indeed the Masters. Congratulations. I don't mind. I like God is the winner. Yeah.